Hi, everybody. Thank you for coming back to Living to Do's review of Power Book 2, Season 2, Episode 8, Drug Related. We're going to get started with this review, but first I would like to ask if you would like and share and subscribe to this video. I would really appreciate it, and I thank you in advance. So let's get started with the review. We'll open with the first scene, and the scene is a court scene with Sullivan speaking in court, and she's telling the jury that there is a tape that was going to show motive. Well, Davis objects, and they kind of have a sidebar with the judge, and Davis explains to the judge that the prosecution did not provide the defense with this tape, and Sullivan asks, or actually the judge said that that Davis could listen to the tape, but not his client, being Tariq. So they can listen to whatever the contents of this tape, but Tariq is not to listen to it. And so we see later that after the court, Tariq's in the hallway talking to the conservator, and he's telling him that, Jazz is going to be put up for adoption. They found a family, and apparently this is the father's wishes that she be adopted, and that no one will know who she's been adopted by, and she's to carry the her adopted parents' last name. That would keep her in hiding from people like Tariq, or anybody, I guess, for that matter. It could have been an attack for a prior bad drug deal or something, but that was just too much that the father has put this in the will for his daughter. Wasn't that strange?
That's way too much.
Way too much, way too detailed. Did he do the same thing for Tariq at some point?
Tariq couldn't even comprehend what he was saying. He was
Yeah,
like,
what? Um, I found that interesting. He did all that before he died. It was Tariq was like surprised at that. After that, we see Davis talk to Tariq in court, and he was saying that he will keep him out of jail as long as the money gets paid. Cause and effect: you give him the money, and he defends you and keeps you out of jail. Because if you don't give him the money, you will get a public defender who won't have the know-how to keep you out of jail, and you will do 25 to life. Yeah, so Tariq has a problem because he doesn't have a connect to sell the drugs to pay Davis. Okay. So the next scene we have Diane and Monet. Diane's in her room, and Monet comes to her room, and they're talking, and Monet gets a call, and Diana wants to know who it is, and Monet lies and says it was the agent for Zeke for his basketball. So Monet had to take the call, she says, and she goes into her room, closes the door, and Diana follows her to the room, eavesdropping, hustling, gets you a lot of information. She knows she's talking to Dante. So that got interesting.
She finally figured out that the D that was texting Monet was named Dante.
She's putting one and one together. So the next scene we have, this was a quick scene. Mecca is on the phone. He was the one that was calling Dante, and we see what he's doing on his end. And ironically, Monet's child, Kane, busts in the room. At the same time, Dante, Mecca, was looking at a ring, a beautiful ring. And he hurries up and scrambles, and he puts this ring into a duffel bag and closes it up into a closet. Later, we see Lauren. She's in Sullivan's office with her parents discussing the case and what's going to happen. And they really want her to testify because she's the only one who had prior knowledge that Tariq knew something about this book that Jabari was writing. And they think that was the motive or had something to do with his death. Now, one thing that was interesting in that clip is Lauren's mother. She was a little hot for Jabari.
And I think it's because last season when Lauren and Tariq had the dinner and Carrie and Jabari went to Lauren's house with her parents, something was going on there.
Well,
and then
but that's also interesting because Braden's mother is hot for Jabari.
Oh yeah.
What's with these women with college age children hot for their kid's professor? Isn't that interesting?
The dead one.
Okay, so after that, Diana goes snooping in her mother's room. She's snooping, and it's funny, that big old room, she quickly found something in a shoebox. Wasn't even hidden well. It looks like it was a Bible from a hospital, Wilmington Hospital, or a hospital in Wilmington, where, and also in this Bible was a little baby, an infant photo, a newborn picture was in the Bible, and on the back of the picture, it said Ezekiel Cross. That's Zeke. Interesting. Diana is she is the real snoop here. When you got something in your gut, you follow your gut. It's amazing what you'll find. So that happened. So Diana, what she does is she calls the hospital, and she wants, I guess, some information about a birth. And that took place in 2002 for Ezekiel Cross. The hospital says, we don't have a birth for that name in 2002. So anyway, we'll find out more about that later. The next thing we have Effie, Braden, and Tyreek in the dorm, and Effie and Braden had gone to meet with a possible connect to get some drugs to sell for Course Correct to get some money generated, and Effie found out those drugs were bad, and so they're meeting in the dorm room, and they had to come up with a plan, and this is right after Tyreek comes from court. He's been real cool in court and everything, and he's even cool now when he has to discover or come to get a great idea to get more product to sell. And so he says he has an idea. So later we see Tyreek go into a coffee shop or something, give somebody some money, and goes into a back room. I don't know how he set this all up, considering, he has an ankle monitor. How are you going to the coffee shop? You're supposed to stay on campus.
He's using every second of them 10 minutes he has.
Oh, maybe. I don't know how he's going to do this, but he goes into the back room, and he's in the back room with everybody, which is Tyreek is in there with Effie and Braden and Monet and Kane. They come up with a plan to steal product from Mecca to start to sell. And Kane says this plan won't work unless we draw Drew in. So the next scene we see Kane, Monet, and Drew. Kane is trying to convince Drew to be a part of this heist, and I guess in the plan, Kane was gonna kill Little Guap.
Yes.
And then Drew said he wanted to kill Little Guap because it's personal, you know. So, the next scene we have, also in the meeting they said we need to distract.
Monet and Diana. Or
Wait, no, no,
Lorenzo
no.
and Diana.
Yeah, Lorenzo and Diana. And so they said, Tyreek, you distract Diana because she'll do anything you say. And Monet said she was going to take Lorenzo to Coney Island.
Coney Island.
Coney Island. Coney Island. It's Coney. Okay. So in the next scene, we have Davis and Tyreek in Davis's office. And Davis is saying that he has this tape, but he can't let him listen because he will be disbarred, la da 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 da. So what he does is he sets it all up and he walks out the office. And so Tyreek could be in the office alone with the recording. So that's what happens. So Tyreek plays the recording and he listens and he hears that it was Lauren who got him on the wire. Okay, so Davis um, Davis says, what did Dave? No, it was Sachs.
He says, "Where you going, Tariq? I know the St. Patrick's have a history of something."
Yeah, yeah.
He knew, or he thought that Tariq heard the tape and didn't want him to go do anything to Lauren.
Right. He said, Cooper Sachs said, we don't want him to do anything St. Patrick-y.
Yeah, that's what he said.
You don't know, people come up dead. So the next scene, I don't know how relevant this was, but Sachs is with Sullivan. They're in bed, and I guess he tries to kiss her, and she's like, what are you doing? This relationship there's no kissing. And then what happened? They get in a fight, right?
Yeah, they got in a fight, and then I think it was about like Lauren or something.
Right.
And then he said,
"Oh yeah, because he let her." Did he let? Oh, when they were talking, he slipped and said too much, where it indicated to Sullivan that you know too much detail. You must have got that detail from Tyreek because you let him listen to the tape.
Like, "Oh, I just heard a kiss, and I assumed it was his."
Yeah, right. And so she kicks him out. So I guess they have broken up, or so it appears at this point. Because actually, that's I don't know. They should have disclosed to the court that they're sleeping together if they're opposing counsel. It's conflict of interest. Yeah. So the next scene we have the classroom, and the subject is truth.
James St. Patrick's nightclub.
Oh, that's also, you know what? That's so true. I wonder why he named it Truth.
Because he's lying.
Yeah, because he's lying. To throw you off the set. So Carrie gets a call from Sullivan while she's in class, Prosecutor Sullivan, and she wants to tell her that she knows that Davis let Tyreek hear the tape, and she feels that Lauren could be in danger. And Carrie notices, oh my God, Lauren is not in class. So she goes to Lauren's dorm room.
Tariq sneaks out of class.
Yeah, because Tariq was in class when this was going down, when she received the phone call.
Mm-hmm.
And she's looking at Tariq talking about Lauren's not in class. And so she says to the class, she dismisses herself. And she says, it's family. And what's that girl said? What's that girl?
Keisha.
Yeah. Is her name Keisha?
She said, oh, she lying about family matters.
We all know she lying when the class is about truth. So anyway, so Carrie goes into her dorm room and opens the door, and Tariq teleported himself into Lauren's room. he knew that he knew that Carrie was headed over there, and she's asking Tyreek, what are you doing here? It's the same thing you're doing here, looking out for Lauren's safety. Um, he said that he accused her of setting up Lauren and making her wear the wire and to protect herself. Um, she was going to risk a student's life for her personal gains, and she said we need what wants her to do is he wants her to take the stand in court and lie for the right reason. So I think she's scared to death because I think she also knows it's tied into Monet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's already scared of Monet.
And she's scared to death of Monet. Monet bust the windows of her car, threatened her life. So after that scene, we see Monet. She's doing her distraction by taking Lorenzo to Coney Island.
Not Corny Island.
Where they reminisce about things. So that was a nice moment they had. But then the next scene, we have Diana. No, we don't. Oh, and we have Monet. She's snooping through
Diana's room with the music.
Yeah, didn't Diana say she was going to Zeke's game?
Uh-huh.
Okay, she said she was going to Zeke's game, and then oh yeah, that music was it the same music
the
for
song.
That was that
in the bushes.
In the motive. I like that song they were playing when Diana and Monet were snooping around in each other's room.
Leave the song in the comments if you know.
Yeah, definitely. I liked it. It was perfect. So Monet is snooping around in Diana's room while she's out, and she finds condoms in a purse of Diana's. So Monet knows something's up. She knows she's going over to Stansfield to be with Tyreek. So we have was Carrie, she went down to Sullivan's office? Did she go there?
Did she? I don't think so.
They talk, oh, no, they do talk because Carrie asked for Sullivan to put her on the stand.
But that was at the courthouse, wasn't it?
No, it was at the courthouse.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. It was right before.
Okay, well, they talk, and she tells Sullivan that she has prior knowledge of the book, the novel that Jabari was writing. And she also tells her that Lauren's in protective custody. So, that's interesting. So they put Carrie on the stand. Or maybe she was in court and then she came to court to do that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So, Carrie's on the stand. And she gets cross-examined by Davis. Davis asked about all her personal relationships that she had with people connected to the case. She first said that she talked about the novel at first, saying that the source in the novel, the subject, was Tyreek, and the person in the novel is a person selling drugs. So I don't know how that helps Tyreek. You're a drug dealer? She's saying.
It doesn't help Tariq. The whole reason Tariq wanted her to go up there was so Lauren wouldn't have to.
Right.
And
it was about the murder stuff.
Yeah, but Tariq wanted her to go up there so Lauren wouldn't go, and he knew that Davis would do what he did to
which is fine. That's just great. But if she's gonna blow up her spot, she's probably telling the truth. So she's saying that she knew about the novel, and the subject in the novel was Tariq, and the subject was selling drugs on college campus. So you're telling everybody, yeah, maybe. I mean, you're gonna blow up her testimony. Well, maybe not.
Because then
That,
the jury's gonna look at her as a liar and they can't believe it. So
yeah, but still, so you're lying about Tariq being a drug dealer? That's made up too.
and being unethical or something.
Well, she says he cross examines her. He makes her tell in open court of all the people that are connected to this case that she slept with, and that was Whitman. People were surprised at that. They were surprised at her sleeping with Jabari, because first of all, that's a colleague, and they were surprised that she was sleeping with Zeke because he's a student and that's frowned upon and you can get fired for that. And Davis in open court said, "You also have a relationship with me, or had one, a sexual relationship." And she had to admit to that as well.
And the jury was laughing.
Uh huh.
They were having a blast.
So
they was put on a true show in the courthouse.
Yeah. When they talked about Zeke, you know what they call him? Freaky Zeke. Do they?
That's his nickname.
Do they call him that? Have you heard it? Oh my god.
This is last season.
Freaky Zeke.
Freaky Zeke.
Freaky Zeke. Okay, well, Lauren. So when Davis had his opening arguments in court, he talked about how he was going to blow up, or pretty much blow up, whatever Jennifer Sullivan had to say, and everyone was going to be shocked. They were. When I don't know how he knew that then, because he didn't even know he would have Carrie's testimony.
I think like we wouldn't see, but I think Tariq might have told David.
Maybe. So after that, that's when we see the Monet go to Coney Island. She looked like a mob wife in that big old fur coat.
And Lorenzo looked like a kingpin.
I know. They look like they need to be picked up by the feds right then and there. So we have a scene where we go to Mecca's house, and Mecca's power goes out. And you want to talk about that?
All the power goes off at Mecca's, and then the chef goes out to go check, see what's going on, and then he says, "We can't leave." Whoever at the building said the power's out, we can't leave, blah blah blah, and then it said let's go to the hangar or something.
You know what? During that time though, that's when we noticed Mecca was real short with the chef. He was always yelling at him.
Yeah.
Like he came from the back of the house, or I told you to stay out of there.
I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing.
And then we cut over to Braden and Drew and Effie in the van, and then they hop out, and then Braden's telling the front desk guy that he's an esports player and there's gonna be a lawsuit if this power doesn't go back on. He gets the whole staff shaken up.
You shake them up. You scared of an esports player?
Some of them people in FaZe are some
I guess
big dudes.
It's not so much that, it's the possible lawsuit it could bring, and they have the money to back it up. So,
anyways, the front desk dude leaves, and that's when Drew and Effie and also a little guap sneak in.
And we find out Effie's the one that cut the power, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Effie did cut the power, and then I think it cuts back to Mecca's penthouse or whatever, and then you see them leaving, and then before they leave, Mecca looks at Kane. He's like, "What's going on? You gotta tell me, blah blah blah." And then Kane says he did something similar to GTG.
Yes.
And he got a weird vibe, and then they went out to the hangar.
That's right. They went out to the hangar and they shot up people, I guess.
At the hangar, I believe it was GTG's people at the hangar that were robbing him.
And there were some over there. I guess they were in the attempted to steal something, and they came in. Mecca and his crew came in and finished them off.
Correct.
Okay, so so Mecca wants somebody to go back to the house. Was it?
He tells the chef to go back to the house, and he tells Kane to stay there. And Kane's like, "Where are you going?" And Mecca says, "I'm going hunting." And then
So the chef. Well, so at the house we see it was Effie that cut the power. She's the one that's doing all that. But we see Drew um, inside Mecca's house, and he finds his way into Mecca's room where there is, I guess, it's that money that he's stealing, or it's drugs, right? In a duffel bag.
I believe so. And he also puts in the ring that Mecca got from Monet.
Yeah, in
But
there.
before that, he didn't kill the little guap dude from GTG.
He kills Drew kills him.
He does?
Drew
I
kills
don't
little
think.
Guap in the stairwell.
Oh, he killed him. I thought. Oh yeah, he does. He does.
Yeah, yeah, he kills him in the stairwell. So he killed him. Uh, then what happens is Kane comes. So the chef comes to the house, and Drew's in the house. So Drew is hiding from the chef, and we don't know how he's going to get out. Somehow Kane breaks away from the situation at the hangar, comes back to Mecca's house, and he distracts the chef so Drew can sneak out of the house.
Correct.
Okay. And so at what point do we see this? Okay, so in the next scene we have Tyreek taking that ring that was for Monet to Davis as payment.
Yes.
Uh,
He says, "Whoever this was for is gonna be mad."
yeah, that's right. And he also says at that time, while Tyreek's in the office, about um, thanking Tyreek for his idea of putting Carrie on the stand. So Tyreek is working on his own behalf. This is the kind of work you're paying Davis for. You're doing it. Um, so in the next scene we have the dinner scene with
The Tejadas.
yes, the Tejadas. The Tejadas are having a nice family dinner.
Prepared by Diane.
Prepared by Diana and praised by her poppy. Even and even Zeke is at the dinner table, and it's so funny because they seem real comfortable. Zeke and Lorenzo, they seem like they've always had dinner together before. They it seems like they just met each other, and that was that friction, a little bit of that alpha male bravado, and he met him at the door. At the table, they were just having a nice family meal together, and then all hell breaks loose. Diane busted open, telling everybody at the table how
Kane
Kane,
stepped on the product.
the family product, just to make himself in control, um, to be the new Connect. Uh, the dad's surprised by this, and they asked him why. It was a yelling match, and he blamed Monet, right? He blamed Monet because what she did to him. Did she put him?
Last season, Monet kicked out Kane.
Yeah.
And he was bouncing around, and then that was Kane's way of getting back.
And then Kane tried to tell on Drew's, telling Poppy that Drew didn't kill Everett. And then Zeke said, Everett?
My teammate.
My teammate. Why?
And then Zeke said, "Oh, no, I gotta go.
I gotta go."
And then Monet tells Zeke to stay after he could have left.
Tells Zeke to stay. Oh, yeah. She tells him to stay. And then Diana tells everybody that Zeke.
That's not what happens next.
What happens next?
She says how no, after that,
after he told about Everett,
I think Monet says, "You've been lying about going to the games. You
oh
been with
yes,
Tariq."
that's right. She told on Diana.
And then Diane says, "You've been messing around with some dude named Dante."
Yeah.
And Lauren was like,
What? What is that true? Yeah, and Dante is. And she goes, let me make it more clear to everybody. That's Dante is Zeke's dad. And then Zeke saw. What did he do?
He said, "Auntie Monet."
And
then Diana says, she ain't Auntie Monet.
That ain't Auntie Monet to you, honey boo. No, that's your mama.
And she goes,
She
look at the paper.
She produced the birth certificate of Zeke, and Zeke reads it, and he says, "This ain't this 2002. This is the year of birth, 2002." Because that's when he was born. That's not what this says. That's right, because she lied. You were born in 1998.
You 23.
You 23. Instantly, he thinks, I'm out of the league.
I gotta be the draft.
I can't. I'm breaking regulations. I'm too old. They don't think I lied. I didn't lie. I didn't do it. You did it. So, Zeke leaves, and Lorenzo says, Monet, is this true? Are you Zeke's mom? And she says, yes.
He said, who the father?
Who the father?
And then
nobody answered that question.
Then he said, you gotta go.
You gotta go. And she got kicked out of her own home. She didn't put up a fight.
She just walked out?
She just walked out. I guess she knew she was defeated. So she's in the car trying to locate Zeke. And he's not answering, and her call's going straight to voicemail. And so we have... Wait, then why do we have Mecca? I guess Kane went back... Where did Kane go? He went back to Mecca's, right?
I'm pretty sure Kane linked up with Mecca, and then they handled all the GTG and wiped out every GTG member.
Yeah.
And then Mecca says, next is the mole. And the chef says...
Yeah, we gotta kill the inside man.
And then Mecca stares at Kane with his knife out.
So only people standing there is the Kane and the chef.
Mm-hmm.
So Mecca breaks out a knife, opens it up, I guess, and he's looking dead at Kane. And right next to Kane is standing the chef. And I don't know, some switcheroo move. Kane slashes the throat of the chef.
Mecca slashes.
Mecca slashes the throat of the chef. And Kane's just sitting there looking. And then Mecca's doing all this talking to Kane. Like you learn something new every day about people or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he has this weird... the whole time he's looking at Kane. Kane's back is to Mecca, but that aggression that he's saying that with, it's towards Kane, or it might be towards Kane's family. You saw how he was doing that?
Yeah.
I think he was just letting out a little energy. And I don't know if Kane picked that up, that was more directed towards him. Because he knew he was the mole. He knew he was lying when those people... Cut
the power.
A couple episodes when they asked if who was at the at his surveillance.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like Mecca knew he was lying then. I don't know. Okay, so...
I don't know if Mecca knew Kane was lying this time.
Yeah. I don't know. So the next thing we have Monet. She's she goes to Carrie's apartment and she tells Carrie how she, pretty much had a bad day. She was caught in a lie. And Carrie tells her how, oh, Monet said, I lost my whole family. Carrie says, I lost everything too. I lost my job, my life, my integrity. Um,
So
Monet,
at that moment, they were both looking for Zeke.
they were both, yeah, they were both. Zeke had actually texted Carrie and asked, I guess, to come over. So she was probably expecting. Then she got a knock at the door, and it was Monet. And Monet said that, you know, you sleeping with Zeke, he's gonna always come back to you. He won't come to me because he'll always have you to come back to. And then when she's telling this to Carrie, Carrie got a real scary look in her eyes. But then they changed the scene to Effie and Tyreek. And F. Tyreek confides in Effie that Lauren caught him on the wire. And that, Lauren couldn't believe, Effie can't believe it. She said, I don't know if you understand this reference, but she said, Lauren, she said, you mean Vanessa Huxtable is the rat? I don't think you know who Vanessa Huxtable is on the Cosby Show.
No,
She's just this regular home, girl next door, a good girl coming from a good family. They're goody good two shoes, and you would never expect them to do anything out of the norm. And so, calling her Vanessa Huxtable is like calling her, soft. Okay. um, Now, and then when she says that, Tyreek explains that it wasn't her fault that she was manipulated and set up, and it wasn't her idea. That's not her. It was she had to do it because of other things that were happening in her life. So I think he was softening up to Effie about Lauren, and this is when I think Effie noticed that, and then she made a move on Tyreek. And Tyreek says, I thought you don't want us to be attached. And she wants.
She said it was too late.
It's too late. She's attached to Tyreek. Interesting. Uh, she knew. Effie, I don't know. Effie's playing games because she knew how Diana felt about Tyreek, and she pushed Diana back, saying, don't mess with him. He's no good for you. Tyreek tells Effie about Lauren in a softening up when he mentions her, and then she does. Effie is consoling, but I think she is also manipulating the situation, trying to get closer to him. Even after he just mentioned a girl in his life. I don't know. I just noticed that about her. So the final scene, we have Zeke. He does finally make it to Carrie's apartment, and he opens the door, and we see legs hanging from the ceiling. So it looks like Carrie is the one who was killed. Now I don't know if she killed herself on her own.
It looks like it.
Or if Monet had something to do with it, because I don't imagine Monet having a gun saying, "Go climb up that thing and put that, shoot me first before I do all that." So one question I want to know is, how did Mecca know the chef was the mole?
I'm not sure. He makes a lot of rash decisions.
I don't know. So that's the question I want to have answered. So if you know that answer or a speculation, drop it down in the comments.
But let us know. Let's chat.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to be the end of this review. We hope to see you guys next week for another jam-packed episode. You can go check me out on @EverydayTrippin' in the sub box, and we will catch you guys soon because we got living to do.